playing. There's only one way that I would not have gone to this game, and that would be if I was invited to John Strickland's pool party, and I wasn't. So I bought a ticket and headed to ATL.
The Strickland pool party, a lot of thongs, a lot of Speedos, a lot of margaritas.
Smoked ribs, Boston butts.
Yeah.
That's what I was coming for.
Yeah. Plenty
It's
of whiskey.
Like a Snoop Dogg Dre video in the 90s. That's what that's going to look like.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
About all that.
The good old days.
I'm just testing you, Strick. I'm just seeing what level does this party go to?
Nah, it's probably, 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10 of us. I mean, it's nothing too big.
Big enough for me. Hey, if you invite me, I show up. Not to invite Flint. If you want Flint to come, he'll just guess that something's going on and just kind of randomly stumble upon it. But if you actually invite him to something.
Yeah, it's tough sledding with old Wando, but I did talk to him Sunday night. I think we're going to try and plan a weekend, Missouri game weekend, to come down, stay with Flint, watch the Missouri game, hit some Windjammer up. So you need to mark that on your calendar.
Yeah, I took Flint to the Windjammer with me a few weeks ago. I'm good for another year or two on that, but we definitely watch football together.
No, you're coming. I heard you know the owner, so you're definitely coming.
That I do. Hey, Preston said he could beat you up. Do you think we could do an arm wrestling match or something this season somewhere?
Who?
Preston Thorne.
I don't know. Preston may get me an arm wrestling.
Who would you not want to arm wrestle? Brewer? I wouldn't want to arm wrestle Brewer.
I don't want to arm wrestle Brewer. Ask Preston how practice went back in the day, okay?
I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. I just wanted to stir the pot, man.
I'm totally joking, dude. I'm totally joking.
That was when he was a backup, though. When he was a starter, those things.
We went against each other for 3 or 4 years. I mean, we were together 5 years, but first year I was on scout team, he was on scout team, so we didn't go against each other. But after that, after our year of getting redshirted, we definitely went against each other a good bit.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. We are glad to have him as part of all this. So let me ask you this, man. I was watching highlights yesterday from a guy named Connor Shaw. How about that? Connor Shaw, quarterback, Carolina, pretty good one, number 14. I was watching some of the throws that he made. Mike, you made a point yesterday. Was it yesterday or last week? I don't know. You made it about, hey, let's not forget how good Connor Shaw was. We always mention, he was undefeated at home. Yes, that's true. And oh man, he could take off and run. Yes, that's true. And he was a winner. He was tough. He was this, that, and the other. But the dude could throw the football. He might not be able to throw it over them mountains, but he could throw it as precise as about anybody I can remember in a Carolina uniform when you actually go back and watch it, right? Some of those plays that Spurrier ran. And it got me thinking because I asked Pat yesterday, our buddy Pat DeMarco, who, by the way, also was not invited to the pool party. He said, I asked him, hey, look, when you played in the NFL, you played against Mike Shula's offense with the Panthers twice a year, right? So how do you describe it? What was he known for? What symbolizes Mike Shula as an OC? And his response was, I thought it was pretty neat, John. He said, kind of like Coach Spurrier. And the fact that it's consistency. If something is working, he'll keep doing it. And I'm just curious about your opinions and thoughts about quarterbacks who get, I feel like that's how they refine some of these throws that they make. They just make them a lot. Here are the things that you do well. Let's do it. And it just really, really amps up my curiosity about Lenoris Sellers and throwing the football downfield this season.
Well, I mean, I think it goes back to what we talked about on here last week when I said simplifying things down to the things that your personnel does the best. I mean, stick with it. There's no point in doing stuff in my opinion, in practice or whatever, that probably a good chance you're not going to run in the game, right?
Mm.
So simplify it, find out what your guys do the best, and pound that into practice, and you make it better than everybody else. And I'm a firm believer in that. And so with what you're saying, these repetitions over and over and keeping it to finding them what a quarterback does best. I mean, to me, it's pretty simple. I think sometimes, some offensive coordinators just try and make things overly complicated when they really don't need to be overly complicated. That's just from my playing experience of all the years I played football. I mean, if you got, 10 plays that just work and your offense execute those 10 maybe 12 plays very good, stick with it.
Mm-hmm. Flynn always talks about doing that and just running it out of different formations.
Yeah, 100%.
So could you? This is kind of a visual. If we can do that for the audience, could you give an example of what that means?
Yeah, I can give you a great example. So zone, we ran zone. It was called Braves. All right, that's what we ran a lot of. So it's a zone, inside zone run. Sometimes we run it with a tight end on the line. Sometimes we run it out of 4 wide. Sometimes you could run it with 2 tight ends. I mean, it's just all kind of different things you could do out of different formations, but you're running the same play. Some's going to take a safety out of the box, maybe pulls a linebacker out the box, opens it up a little bit more. Or if you want to have a tight end in for an extra blocker on a linebacker or safety walk down, I mean, there's just all kind of different things you could do. So I guess that's the simplest way to describe it, when running the inside zone.
And what is the purpose of motioning guys when you're doing stuff like that? You'll see a lot of window dressing from time to time with certain offensive coordinators and things.
That's just so you can kind of get a read on maybe what the defense is doing. And I think motioning guys, especially on a pass play, lets you know if they're in man or zone. If you got a guy that say you motion the tight end and then you have a linebacker that runs with that tight end instead of a shift, well, 9 times out of 10, that means they're in man if the guy's running with him, with the guy in motion. If the defense is just shifting, then they're in zone. So that's kind of tells you get from that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I am so curious as to how all this the wide receiver group obviously has been talked about to exhaustion. There's nothing else to talk about. We'll just have to see it. I think they'll be better than people think they will. But everything that you're describing right here, and we referenced Connor Shaw and we referenced Steve Spurrier. One of the things that stuck out to me, which Mike, we've joked about this. Like, remember Busta Anderson? Remember Busta?
Oh yeah,
we called him Busta. His real name was Rory, but Busta. Guys like him, guys like Jarrell Adams. Every time the ball was thrown to him, it was in the end zone. Did y'all ever notice that? Or they landed in the end zone.
Dude, Busta Anderson had a ton of touchdowns. That little over the middle play with a linebacker on him 1-on-1. I mean, he caught that ball so many times.
Yeah, and just trotted across the goal line. I feel like this group of tight ends are not wideouts, but I feel like there's a lot of similarity in the athleticism to some of these guys that we've seen before. Obviously, Michael Smith would be the headliner in that. But when I saw that yesterday, it got me thinking. I was like, I feel like a lot of the similar pieces are here that were there then. Are we seeing in some way, shape, or form a small recreation of the type of offense that Steve Spurrier liked to run around here? I guess time will tell, won't it?
It will. And, like I was saying, making offenses simplified. I mean, if you do it so many times and you're a smart player and you've been around it so many times, I mean, there's little tells that defenses give away that if you just study the film, you can catch those tendencies. I mean, it's just like it's something simple as, when you've got 2 safeties, but one's cheating towards the middle of the field and the other one's kind of playing, say, the right side and maybe up a little tight. Well, not all the time, but probably 75% of the time, that means the D line is going to slant to their right, which will be the offense's left, and typically means you got a blitz coming off the outside. I mean, there's so many things I could sit here and just pull up tape and watch. And if you make the offense simple and do what everybody does best, and you study the defense like you should, I mean, it makes things so much easier.
Last year, let me ask you a question. I'm asking this to both of you. John, as a student of the game, player of this game at this level, Mike, as a you're a student of the game too, but obviously as a broadcaster, you've got to know what's going on when you're up there.
Please fake it.
Or at least act like it.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
That's the name of the game in this life. I felt like there was a lot of times last year in the running game, and maybe I'm incorrect here, and I feel like maybe we've had some of these conversations here and there, but I know a lot of the fan base has said this, where it felt very vanilla. It was like, we've got Rocket, just give him the ball and let him earn the yards. Do you understand what I'm saying here? It was a lot of the same plays over and over on the ground, at least. What is a balanced running game when it comes to play calling and implementing creativity and things like that if you don't have a Rocket Sanders?
Great question.
I mean, listen, Rocket was a great back, all right? We all know that. But I think the running backs we got are great. Really, it comes down to everybody playing their assignment. Here's the deal. All these guys, especially the offensive line, they're all good enough to be playing in the SEC. That's why they're here. If everybody just does their job, holes are going to open up. Now, it's not always going to be perfect. I mean, running the ball in this league is tough. You may only get 2, 3, 4 yards. But every now and then you're going to pop one, and Rocket popped a lot of them last year. So I don't know. I think it comes down to what's our 4 or 5 best running plays, and what sets can we run them out of, the different sets, formations, and all that, that you think maybe the defense doesn't defend against this formation as well, or whatever. So, I mean, honestly, it really comes down to blocking your man, your assignment, running back, reading the hole right. That's something Rocket was good at. I mean, he would – I don't know if I even saw him do it last weekend in the Chargers game. He has such a good peripheral vision that he sees, okay, that hole's not there, and Rocket was so good of just working it back to the outside and having a big game. And he just did it this past weekend or the weekend before with the Chargers in the preseason game. I mean, he goes to hit the hole. There's a slight crease, but he sees that the outside defender's playing down and being blocked, and he just kicks it outside, throws a little stiff arm, and runs a 7-yard touchdown. So that's what Rocket was really good at. So do we have that on this team that's as good as he? That's what Marcus was so good at too. Lattimore was one of the best. His vision, his peripheral was just out of this world, and that's what made him such a great running back. Do you have a guy that caliber on this roster? I think we do. I think we got some really good guys. And like I said, I mean, this running back room to me is 5 deep. I think you can play 5 guys easily. That's how deep I think they are at the running back position this year. But it really all comes down to blocking your man, knowing your assignment. I mean, that's really I know that sounds like a simple answer, but it's the truth.
If things don't go the way everybody wants with Faison, who's your bell cow?
I'm hearing Auguste, Oscar Attaway, but I said this last year. Fuller is going to be a spectacular back, and I think Jawan Howell. I mean, you go back and watch some of the runs Jawan Howell, and one just sticks out to me about him last year was the Wofford game.
Yeah,
he stiff arms and then leaps over a guy and then shoves 2 guys off of him, breaks the tackle, and runs a 20-yard touchdown. I mean, that guy's shown flashes. But I would say Oscar and Auguste, but I really think you're going to see us playing 4 or 5 running backs. I really do, and especially with the talent all of them bring, and all of them's got something a little bit different. I think it's a good mix.
Yeah, I've been very for months, I guess, really for months, even before Isaiah Gustave showed up to South Carolina. Been very I don't want not surprised. That's a really bad word, but intrigued by every response that I've gotten from. I mean, yeah, talking to guys like you, John, who certainly have been to practice and seen things and stuff like that. But then also, my direct sources there. When you ask questions about the running back room, how the answer never stops with just a couple of names. I'm not so sure actually that I can remember a season ever at South Carolina where, I mean, even, okay, do y'all remember in 2014, or it was 2013, I'm sorry, injury, and then all of a sudden Brandon Wilds is in there, right? And he was the fifth string tailback to start the season. The pride of Blythewood, South Carolina. Brandon Wilds' name never came up, ever. I mean, it was like Brandon Wilds is on the roster, and that's cool. He's a local kid. And then all of a sudden he's starting, and he had a hell of a career at South Carolina. But I haven't been able for months to ask a question and say, all right, well, who's the guy? But the interesting thing about all those responses is it's never a negative. It's never like, man, I just don't know. It's like what you just said. They all bring something to the table. There's only one football. And I'm just as curious as anybody on the planet how this is going to work. I guess the question I have, and I'm going to ask you this, John, is again, and I know that they are incredibly optimistic about Rasul Faison. I know that. But to Mike's point, optimism in the NCAA sometimes don't always matter. If something wacky happened and he was not ruled eligible and they go with those guys, as you mentioned, they're all talented dudes, what would be your biggest concern about that group without Faison in it?
I mean, I really don't have any, but I will throw this caveat in there. Mike, who's like, all right, who's going to be the bell cow? Well, the bell cow is going to be the one who can also block on passing downs.
Yeah.
That's the caveat. So typically the running back you see playing the most does a combination of both well, right? If you want to get on the field as a running back and tote the rock, and everybody in that room is maybe kind of even on, how they feel about running the ball, everybody's kind of right there bunched together. So who do we play? Well, you're going to play the guy who pass blocks the best, who knows his assignments the best. So that's what I'll throw in there. Like I said, without Faison, I think we got four solid guys who can come in and play, and we'll be just fine. Now, do we want him in? Yes, because I've watched a lot of his film since we signed him just to kind of see what he's about. And he's a pretty electric guy once he gets that ball in the open field. So it would be nice to have him this year. And I'm hearing good things. I've already told you what I've heard. I'm not going to say it on here, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It needs to happen sooner than later. I don't think this has been a popular question. We actually kind of asked Shane this when he was on with us a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think anything's really been different. I was listening to it the other day on another program, and it was like, oh, what do you do? How do you give reps to all these guys? If this guy might be eligible, might not be eligible, how do you split it up? How do you do preseason camp? And Mike, if you remember, we asked him the same question. How do you approach this if you don't know what to expect? And he was like, we've I don't know. You just practice them. I don't think they've changed anything. I think that they're doing it like they wanted 5 on the roster the whole time, John. Whether you got 4 or 5 or whatever, I think they're just running out there practicing every day, from what I understand, with 5 running backs. And if they end up only having 4 running backs, then they're going to feel just as good as if they had 5 as far from a rep standpoint in preseason. I don't think they've changed a damn thing about it.
Listen, I can tell you this. Most college teams would love to say, yeah, we're 4 deep at running back and we can play any guy. All right. If you have Faison, that's 5. So I think you feel good where you're at regardless. But Faison is a nice piece to have on this football team.
I I think too with that though, and John can correct me if I'm wrong. What Beamer does, we talked last week about would there be a third scrimmage. What this week is a simulated game,
Right.
Game week, and so they're going to scrimmage like a little bit. Spurrier used to do this; he'd have like a half scrimmage, and use that third one for that. But they're going through because school started and all that. And once school starts at most programs, that's really when you start prepping for your first game. So Faison's reps or lack thereof would probably be more applicable from now moving forward when you're getting ready to the game, because maybe you need to give Fuller or Howell or Augusta more reps to get them ready. I mean, Isaiah played a full year at Colorado last year. He's played a game, but not for Carolina. The other two, Fuller played against Akron, and that was it. Howell got some run, but it wasn't a lot. Really, the most he played was the bowl game. So I think that's, when it comes to Faison, if they don't think he's going to be eligible, which everybody does and thinks they're shocked it hasn't happened yet, I could see them maybe even waiting till like next week when the game week to cut it. Because that's everybody though. Everybody gets it. John knows this. Is my understanding. Like at this point, or really starting with game prep, you have a scout team, and you don't rep everybody. Like you're not repping your fourth team quarterback.
Facts.
You're not repping you're repping the guys that are basically going to play in your special teams units, and that's it. And that's why camp, they call it camp, because you're working on football all day.
Yeah.
And everybody plays. It's like ASO soccer without orange slices.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, camp, everybody goes out and practices that way. You can see what everybody's got.
Everybody.
But we've already, we're 2.5, 3 weeks in now. You kind of know where you stand with each guy.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know how Shane and the staff will approach it. I know stuff like this happened in the past, and from other people I've talked to, you pretty much have to go into it looking at it like, all right, this guy's not going to play, so we have to practice these other guys. Now, are they going to keep him up to date? Is he going to get reps? He is. But is he going to get his reps maybe if he was cleared to play? No, he's not going to. And, JC, you nailed it on the head. I mean, this is they're treating this week like it's Virginia Tech week. That's what they're doing right now. Classes started today. They're back. They're in that fall schedule now. So everything from today going forward is normal game prep. And if you got a guy that's, whether he's going to play or not is hanging in the balance, you got to give these other guys reps to have them ready just in case. I mean,
I'll add, in this situation, it's different than maybe some other ones where, I don't know, like Jalen Brooks or whatever a couple of years ago. People compare it to that. Jalen Brooks had been to 3 different schools, and there wasn't even a transfer portal. It's a miracle he got cleared by LSU that season.
Yeah.
But with this, though, I mean, maybe they do. I mean, I agree with JB, too. Literally nothing has changed with the situation as far as, like, what they're doing. They're operating, and Beamer's like this. He's just going to operate as normal and all that. But the time to narrow it down, would probably be starting with this week, because that's what's changed. It's not, you're not working on football all day anymore.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I want to kind of tying these in real quick, John. I want to, before we get out of here, I want to ask a quick question. JC has updated projected chart.
It's opinion.
Projected. This is an opinion.
Don't yell at me, Beamer.
Shane's coming up at 1:00 today, so
Shane's gonna love this.
I'm gonna shoot him a text and ask him to log on and check it out before he speaks. John, our buddy Schubert here, who after a few Miller Lights can't spell his last name, has Case and Henry behind Big Tree at right tackle. Trevon is not a shocker at all at right guard. And weeks ago, we brought this up to you, Mr. Strickland. word was kind of creeping out that there could be a new name at the left guard position in Shed Surratt. People kind of, what? Well, JC's got him in there for the second straight time as a projected starter, a true freshman at left guard. I was just curious, A, if you've heard anything about any of this, and B, what your thoughts were.
I mean, it's real. It's real from what I was told over the weekend, what I found out Sunday night. So it is real. Now, whether he is going to be starting, I can't give you that answer right now. Has he been running with the ones? Yes, he has.
He's what you call a war daddy, man. He's just he's like that. Georgia, the Bulldogs are going to start a true freshman at left guard, by the way. Juan Gaston, who the Gamecocks recruited.
Yeah.
I read that on Dog Nation the other day. So Gamecock fans, you were not alone. If you recruit good players, sometimes it just works out that way. I think Nick Sharp missing all of spring practice, along with Surratt just being way better than people anticipated, way more advanced. Keep in mind, this kid started at left tackle at Gaffney High School. A lot of pressure there for a high school football player as a freshman. There are no true freshmen in high school, obviously.
That's so impressive. I'll just tell you, it's impressive, man. Here's what I'm hearing, and here's what I think. I think the depth chart is set right now everywhere on defense and offense, except for the left guard and right tackle position.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's what I'm hearing.
I wrote that. I actually wrote that today. I think they'll battle right on. Yeah. Sometimes John Strickland and I have the same thoughts about football. Like, he'll listen to Coffee and hit me up a text. I guess I was just thinking the same thing. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's just like the other week you were talking about. Yeah, we got 4 or 5 stars starting on this team, and I sent you a screenshot to where I just yesterday had texted that same thing.
Yeah, dude, crazy.
What's going on here?
I got an idea, John. I think you should have a segment that you do at night called Bourbon. And put it all out there, so when Coffee comes on the next morning, it's old news.
Bourbon and coffee.
Bourbon and coffee, right? That's a cute one. It's called Columbia Cuban coffee.
God, my wife has wanted to start a bourbon podcast forever, but I just I don't know if I want to do it.
Get Morgan in on that live from Kentucky sometimes, from Bourbon Country.
Heck yeah, we'll go to Buffalo Trace, set up a little tent. Ready to roll.
Yeah. But I will say this on the O-line thing. It sounds like it's, you got your center, right guard, and left tackle nailed down. Your left guard and right tackle position is good, healthy competition.
Yeah.
But after this week, they're going to have to choose who they are, because into game week, you need those 5 guys clicking that whole week of practice with each other. So, but I am hearing it is a battle, left guard and right tackle, which I love it. I mean, competition breeds greatness. And
Tree and Case, to their credit, have gotten better. Well, both of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're going to get it should be next Tuesday, a week from today, when the first depth chart comes out.
Yeah, that's why I went ahead and put mine on out.
Do you think we see a or?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't include any oars, right?
I
didn't include
the over-under on oars.
I'm typically
that's when
against,
the oars come out.
Yeah, I'm against the oars on the offensive line, because you need those 5 guys all synced in together, and it's the most important cohesive unit on the field that has to be together. So I don't think we'll see an or. I was kind of joking, but
who was it last year that put all oars on their depth chart? Mike, do you remember? It was somebody in the SEC.
There's certain
Lane
SIDs.
Kiffin used to do that crap.
Yeah. There's certain SIDs that, and SIDs are just, they do whatever the coach tells them. So that's really the coach that's making that call. How about this over/under on oars on the wide receiving chart on the depth chart?
You know what?
Yeah,
man? I don't think it's as many as you think.
I
Maybe
don't think
one.
so either, Mike. I don't think so either. I think there's 4 guys that are pretty much.
I think second team will be a lot of oars.
I agree with that.
That counts.
Today I projected
that's a good point. Yeah,
the top 4.
So all of them.
Like the 4 guys returning. And then I went with Murph and Rowe as my freshmen that will be listed in the 6. But man, Jaden Sellers has had a good camp. Malik Clark had a great spring and has done some good things. Jordan Gitteron's going to probably end up being better than all of them, probably not this year. And then Lex Cyrus has reshaped his body and is doing some good things. I like him as a return game guy.
He's going to play.
Yeah, so.
Listen, I told y'all when we started camp, I think there's going to be one freshman wide receiver that has a pop-out season this year. Which one it's going to be, I don't know, because I think all those guys are very talented. But I think one of them, nothing crazy, but I think you could see one of them having 350 to 450 yards receiving this year.
I'm going to go with Brian Rowe on that. I'm going to give this is not advice. It's just a suggestion to Coach Beamer. Shane, please, for the love of content, put an or next to Lenora Sellers' name on the depth chart next year.
Do you know how people will melt down if because
that would be the ultimate troll, right?
Just troll. Put one next to Dylan Stewart while you're at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Dylan Stewart or Anthony Addison.
Or a freshman. Yeah.
The one position I think you will see the ors at is at defensive tackle.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know who out of those top three. I mean, there's really no. They all three have been. I mean, my guess is they just go with Barrett and Goodwine to start the game because they're returning players.
Yeah, why not? It's just like with Taka, Boogie, and TJ last year. They were all ors, and we all knew those three guys are going to play a lot. So, and I even talked to Boogie about it. He's like, it didn't matter. We were all starters. Just some of us started the game first and, whatever. It's like we were all going to play a ton of snaps.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's they have I believe, a clear top four at tackle, a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So you're right. There probably will, John, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of ors. There's going to be a lot of ors at running back. It's going to be or.
I can see that one too. See that one too.
5 ors in the running back position. Even if Faison isn't eligible, Mike, he'll still be listed as an or.
Yeah, sure.
And look, there's not going to be an or backup quarterback. Just to let everybody know. I know that disappoints everybody.
No, it'll be Luke Doty.
It's going to be Luke Doty.
It's going to be Luke, man, the old man. I played with him back in 04.
That's right. Yeah.
He was one of the 3 quarterbacks and 8 running backs Holtz rotated in 04.
Right.
Yeah, he played with Kevin Sides and who was it, Mike? Who were we talking about the other day? Kevin Sides and who in '99?
Kyle Crab.
Crab, dog.
Kyle Crab.
I feel bad when I snicker about that because Kevin Sides and Kyle Crab are probably graduates of the university and fans and may even listen to this show.
It's nothing
I
personal.
feel
Oh, yeah. No, they both graduated from here. Kyle's one of my good friends to this day. Steve,
great
Austin,
guys.
Kyle was the best one of them all, though, I thought. I mean, because he was the one in that 11-10 slobber knocker against Vandy that actually completed some passes.
Kyle's actually got a condo beside Flint, him and his family.
Nice.
Do they really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I will never besmirch the name of Kyle Crab again. It's not like I talk crap about him. I was just like, that was
It's nothing personal.
not an ideal situation.
It was just they started 6.
Kyle will tell you it was not an ideal situation.
That offense scored 71 points in 11 games. Nothing was ideal about anything.
Gosh, is that the number?
I think it was 71 points.
Oh, man. I mean, I lived it, but I forgot it was that bad.
Crab was a tight end. He wasn't a quarterback, but he could throw the ball.
One of the best games they played was a loss to Florida in the second last game of the year when Petty came back. They played pretty good on offense that day, and they lost 20-3.
46.
They put
56,
21 up on
56.
Clemson, though, and scared the bejesus out of them.
Oh, no. 89. I don't know where I got 71.
You know what? I
Still
remember
bad.
that. I remember that.
It's a
I was
3-point.
actually on a visit to Florida for the Florida State game. I was down there on a recruiting visit. And I remember the South Carolina Clemson score popping up. I was like, oh, shoot.
I think that was the first pass Woody Dancer completed Rod Gardner against the Gamecocks. That it's 24-21, and they hit a long one at the end and went up 31-21. Me and Phil's wife and this guy named Chuck, who was a Clemson fan, parked under the sign at Seawells that says no alcohol. And another buddy of mine had an open bar in the back of his truck. We sat there because it was 0-11, and we just had to live with it, right? under the Seawell sign, it says absolutely no alcohol. He's pouring drinks, mixing drinks. We're having beers. Chuck pulls out a joint. It's like, people don't care if you get high. Go Tigers. And we sat out there till the sun went down. It was that sad after losing all 11 games. 1999, baby.
What a time.
If you work for Seawells, that is a story. It's a joke. It's comedy. I made it up.
That's right. And it's well.
No, but nobody said a word to us, dude. It was that depressing.
There were so many good players on that defense, man.
John
Joe Brown,
Abrahams,
Andre Goodman, Kalimba
Arturo
Edwards,
Freeman,
Stamper, C.J. Fry, Dennis Quinn, Matt Marsters,
Body bag.
dude. Body bag, Shannon Wadley.
Wadley.
You know, it was a shame. Wadley blew out his knee in 01. Like
they wouldn't give him another year.
They didn't give him another. My, how things have changed.
I know, right?
Now
he probably could have played. Yeah, I was going to say 3, but 12 sounds good.
Shannon Wadley would stick you.
I mean, I used to have to block him, buddy. I used to have to block him in practice.
Swainsboro, Georgia was the word.
Tell you what else who brought a hit? Old Ken Harney, man.
Kenny Harney.
Oh, heck yeah.
Ken's a big boy, too. Like, Kenny was a big middle linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny was about 6'3", 6'4", and weighed about 245, 250. And you work up to block him. No, this is just my experience as a freshman, you know, first getting out there against all these guys. And the defense was really good back then. And old Kenny was a load.
He was a load, man.
All right, I got one for you, Strick. You might be too nice to answer this.
Uh-oh.
What happened to Ricardo Hurley?
Oh, I was about to bring him up.
Well, you know, I was only with Ricardo for 2 years.
Five-star, all everything.
Well, when he first got on campus, I mean, the kid was good and he could run. I don't know what happened, honestly. I mean, you know, I was only with him as freshman and sophomore year, and he played a little bit for us, you know, then. But back then we had Lance Larry and Lawrence. I mean, Lance Larry, dude, he was such a great linebacker. He would stone you in the hole too. That's why he played in the NFL for a long time too.
Yeah, played with the Seahawks.
Walk on for Lower Rich from Lower Richland.
Yeah.
We'll walk on. In the mold of Hank Campbell,
who was the AD at St. John's High School.
2 walk-on linebackers.
Cool stat y'all may know, may not know, but my junior year, Lance was a sophomore. He led the SEC in tackles. Do y'all know that?
Say it again?
I think I did know that.
Lance
in 2002?
led the SEC in tackles in 2003.
Or 2003.
Yeah.
Really?
He
I
did.
just remember
Look it
Jasper Brinkley was always up there in tackles.
Yeah, Jasper was
tackling
Best
07.
player on that defense by a mile.
He played in the league, played for the Vikings.
You had Jasper and you had the back end in those days, and the defensive line. Not until Spurrier started getting like guys like Cliff Matthews and Travian in, where the D line was just a bunch of overachievers. But yeah, Jasper making almost every tackle.
Oh man!
And then the back end was really good.
If Jasper doesn't get hurt that LSU game in 07, that season goes completely different. I'm telling you, and we would have won that game too if Jasper didn't go out in that game. That's just my honest opinion. That's how big of a difference maker he was.
We used to have a contest. Part of the Fab Five, one of the tiebreakers was we called it the Domino's Pizza Pounding of the Week, and you got 1 point for a tackle, 3 for a sack, and like 5 for a forced fumble, and you pick which Gamecock would have the most points. Every week you would just take Jasper Brinkley. It was the most sure bet you could possibly find. Like, no knock on anybody else on that defense, but he was a lock for like a dozen tackles every game.
He was a man-child.
He was in the right spot every time the ball was snapped, Mike. It was really amazing to watch. As a matter of fact, aside from many of the moments in Williams-Brice Stadium in 98-99 when we were losing, as it pertains to road games, 2 ballparks that I had never heard so silent. One was when Josh made the kick in Knoxville in 05.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was death right after that ball. Now, Tennessee still had 2 minutes to score. But once it fell through, it was like, oh, I've never heard Knoxville this quiet. Mm-hmm. The other, Athens, Georgia, when Jasper Brinkley picked that ball off in 07 from Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Quiet. I mean, it shut down the whole ballpark. You couldn't hear a pin drop. Kind of like Gainesville in 2010 when Marcus took it in for like the 36th point of the game. I mean, there was nobody there. I mean, it's just like nobody existed.
The Brian Scott catch. I was on that sideline. That place went quiet, but the Carolina fans were loud as hell.
I was in 07. I was in Athens, way in that third deck where they banished everybody to when they built it, and it was loud where I was. But you're right, that game was weird. Carolina just kind of felt like they were going to win.
Yeah,
they were up 16-6. The defense that day stopped that Stafford and all those guys, and Georgia scored late, cut it 16-12, or scored 2 field goals, cut it 16-12, and then there's that pick at the end, and they won. That Georgia team did not lose again.
No. If
there had been a college football playoff that year, Georgia would have gone and maybe would have won it all. I mean, you could have said that about a lot of the Rick teams, but that actually ended up being a really good Georgia team, and then Carolina finished 6-6.
They did.
Was that Rick's first year?
Spurrier's second year. First year.
Third year.
No, Rick's.
Spurrier's third. That was Rick's like seventh.
Yeah, Rick's first year, Carolina won 14-9. I was not at that one. Right before 9/11.
That's the one I'm talking about.
That was for the second straight year. Derek Watson takes the kickoff back on Country Mile.
Yeah.
And then Carolina scored early, and then it was like a bloodbath on defense. John was on that team.
Yep.
Dude, back and forth. Georgia finally gets up 9-7. Here goes a drive. And Phil Petty, man, when the ball, even on TV, you looked at it, it was Thornton or whoever was back there.
Yeah, Bruce Thornton.
And it looked like it was going to be picked. And Brian Scott snatched it out of the sky.
Phil literally threw it just where Bruce Thornton, if he's all the way extended, he would be able to get his hands on it, right? If he's all the way extended. But Brian's as tall as I am. Brian was 6'4" and could jump out the gym. Great basketball player. Brian just jumped up and went over the top of him and said, "That's my ball."
Darlington?
Yep.
Brian Scott?
Yeah, big time recruit under Scott, did not come into his own until the Holtz era. Kind of like Xavier Legette, developmental guy. I obviously wasn't a first rounder. I remember the legend Ron Franklin called that game.
Love Ron.
God,
Ron. One of the best.
Every day.
What happened to him was wrong, man.
There's that's a whole story for another time.
Oh my God!
Passed away recently.
Yeah, that was
Ron, Mike Patrick. Those guys had a lot of Carolina games back then.
Yeah, and were woven into the fabric of SEC in particular.
Almost all the
Ron
big
Franklin
SEC
was
games.
SEC.
Yeah,
perfect.
Well, Ron called
my games.
Ron called the 01 Florida game. In Columbia, and his comments before the game were at that point in time, I think, the best pregame comments ever in describing Williams-Brice Stadium. That was the blackout. That was the first. I mean, I know they had done some 2001 Let It Run on TV in the 80s and not much in the 90s.
Yeah,
that was like the first real image.
Yeah. Ron Franklin and Dave Neal called the majority of my games when I played.
Dave's still in there, man.
Three Daves on Jefferson Pilot.
I love
Dave Rowe, Dave Archer. Dave Baker. Yeah, Dave Baker was predominantly the third guy.
Yeah, he was a sideline guy.
Neal gets sometimes the 4, sometimes the noon on SEC Network now. I believe he did the Jacksonville State game a couple of years ago. I think he did the Old Dominion game last year.
Yeah,
Carolina, they don't need to have him when there's a group of 5 in town, right? So, but no, it's that Florida game in 01 was the best time. It's one of the best days I've ever had. Like
until halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, and I watched the fourth quarter at Carolina Wings and Ale.
Yeah. After Derek scored and put him up 10-3, it was like, okay, maybe this year it's going to happen. It did not.
Spurrier just adjusted. I remember Charlie Strong's quote in the paper was, I told him he'd run. He ran about 16 plays I'd never seen before. And
Strick, you remember after the game when Steve was asked about the crowd? Well, Coach, what'd you think about the blackout tonight at Williams-Brice Stadium? Yeah. Appreciate all these Gamecocks wearing black. Help my receivers see the ball better.
Yeah.
Well, I already told you what he said at halftime because I had buddies that played at Florida. Spurrier just said, they want to black us out. Let's black their ass out in the second half.
Yeah.
That's
Sounds
what
like
he told
Steve.
all of them at halftime. Hey, black their ass out.
They did.
Yeah, he was already up 17, but the head ball coach didn't care about such things like sports, like the score.
That was the only thing that I felt like we missed from Steve Spurrier at South Carolina. He had a lot of opportunities.
He was a little more lenient in his older age. He was.
Yeah.
Well, he changed his whole philosophy too. I mean, that wasn't the playbook he was running for 12 years.
No,
it was an entirely different looking offense.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because you had some really good running backs, and you had to play to them, and
you play your strengths.
We had some games though that we slung it around, but nothing like Florida.
No. I mean that.
The Dylan Thompson year, that was the old Florida offense.
Yeah.
Just couldn't.
I mean, Dylan has a single season record for most passing yards in that one season.
By about 500 yards over the next highest guy.
Man, we were slinging it everywhere with Dylan, but Dylan was such a great passer.
I thought that was part of the magic of Steve is that, I mean, he won a lot of games based on defense, running the ball when he had Lattimore. Like, really good coaches can adjust. They don't just stay with the same thing that made them successful somewhere else. That was a credit to Steve.
All the great ones do adjust.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well,
this was real.
Thank you, sir.
I will see y'all Friday. Back to the old football Fridays.
Pre-game show, man. I'm excited about that.
Yes, sir.
It'll be here before you know
Friday's
it, man.
gonna be next 2 Fridays gonna be big for me. I got Elvis night at Guaranteed Rate Field Friday. I'm coming to the show in costume, and then high school football next Friday with my stepson, and then on a plane to Atlanta on Saturday.
Solid, very solid.
Still won't be as cool as the pool party at Strix Sunday.
Yeah. I got a feeling, though. I got a feeling if everything goes the way we want it, you are going to have probably a better time than I am in Atlanta.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Speak it into existence. All right. I don't know what tomorrow. Oh, guess who returns tomorrow?
Oh.
Long-haired quarterback. Long-haired quarterback returns tomorrow.
You're going to have to find a dump button.
Yeah.
That's funny.
See you guys.
All right.
See you, man.
See y'all.